Your heart feels light and heavy at the same time. The people you crave the most are often the ones who confuse love with pain. You try to hold on, but everything slips like water through your fingers. Every compliment, every word of affection becomes a high that disappears too quickly. You chase it over and over, hoping the next moment will last longer. You ignore the warning signs because chaos feels familiar, almost comforting. Even the smallest unpredictability excites your mind and grips your emotions. You want stability, yet you are addicted to the tension and uncertainty. The patterns repeat without your conscious permission, pulling you back into the same emotional storms. You wonder why you stay when leaving seems so logical, so safe. The pull of chaos is subtle yet irresistible. Like a tide you cannot fight. You convince yourself that these intense highs mean deep love, but they are only moments engineered by unpredictability and manipulation. Your brain rewards you for returning, for enduring the emotional even when you feel drained. The hope of a reward keeps you coming back. You question your own judgment, wondering if love is always supposed to feel like this. This invisible pull, this toxic attraction, shapes your desires and choices. You are caught between the comfort of familiarity and the desire for something healthy. Every decision, every step, feels controlled by currents you cannot see. Your mind searches for reasons, for patterns that might explain the chaos. You replay conversations, analyze every smile, every silence, hoping to find meaning. You convince yourself that if you understand it, you can control it. Yet the more you analyze, the stronger the pull becomes, as if your heart has learned to dance to uncertainty. Each withdrawal feels like punishment, and each return feels like reward. You are caught in a loop of hope and despair, craving attention while fearing abandonment. Your emotions become a tide, rising and falling with every unpredictable act. Even when logic tells you to leave, your instincts push you back toward the storm. You begin to question your own worth, wondering if love is something you deserve. The tension, the unpredictability, it feels like passion, yet it erodes your peace. You start measuring affection in moments instead of understanding the whole picture. Every emotional spike becomes addictive, leaving you chasing the next high. And yet, when moments of calm arrive, you are unsettled, fearing the next withdrawal. You realize that your attachment is no longer just about love, it is about surviving the emotional storm. Manipulation in relationships is often invisible, subtle, yet deeply powerful. You may not notice it at first, only feeling confusion and longing. Gaslighting twists your perception, making you doubt what you know to be true. Love bombing overwhelms you with affection, only to disappear without warning. The highs feel like ecstasy, the lows like punishment, creating a pattern your mind cannot resist. Silent treatment becomes a weapon, and absence turns into emotional addiction. Each unpredictable act pulls you further into the storm, strengthening the unseen chains. You start modifying your behavior to avoid conflict, to earn attention, to feel safe. Your emotional energy becomes a currency in a game you never agreed to play. You chase validation from someone who measures love in uncertainty. Every compromise feels necessary, every mistake punished, every smile fleeting. You wonder why leaving feels impossible, why your heart keeps returning to the same patterns. This is the invisible architecture of toxic attraction, built from your needs and fears. It is both alluring and destructive, familiar yet dangerous, comforting yet painful. You realize that understanding these loops is the first step toward freeing yourself from them. Attachment styles shape the way you love, often without your conscious knowledge. Some people are anxious, craving constant reassurance, fearing abandonment at every turn. Others are avoidant, pulling away when emotions deepen, leaving you chasing what seems just out of reach. These patterns collide, creating a push and pull that feels like intense passion. Yet the same patterns can become traps, binding you to cycles of pain and longing. Trauma bonding emerges when past wounds intersect with present chaos, making you addicted to emotional highs. You may recognize the manipulation, but still feel powerless to resist. Emotional dependency locks you in, convincing your mind that leaving means losing love itself. You'll replay memories, overanalyze gestures, and forgive what you would never accept in reality. Even when safety or calm appears, Your instincts remain tethered to the storm. Understanding attachment is like discovering an invisible map of your emotional patterns. Only then can you begin to untangle yourself from cycles that have defined your relationships for years. Emotional dependency makes you crave the very chaos that drains you. You may find yourself waiting for messages, analyzing every silence, longing for reassurance. The fear of abandonment drives decisions, shaping your actions in ways you barely notice. You forgive behavior that should be unacceptable, hoping that love will return to you. Every absence feels like a loss, every attention like a reward you cannot resist. Your mind confuses intensity with affection and pain with passion. You justify staying, overthinking, and compromising, because leaving feels like surrender. Even the smallest unpredictability becomes addictive, pulling you deeper into patterns you cannot escape. The cycle repeats, Aubert and Aubert, each high and low, leaving a mark on your heart. You begin to question your own instincts, wondering if love is always supposed to feel like this. Emotional dependency and fear of abandonment are invisible chains, binding your heart to the storm. Understanding them is the first step toward reclaiming control, toward freeing yourself from unhealthy loops. Social media magnifies the patterns you are already trapped in. Every like, every comment, every fleeting attention becomes a measure of worth. You compare yourself to others, wondering why someone else seems to receive what you crave. The unpredictability of online attention mimics the highs and lows of toxic relationships. Notifications become addictive signals, feeding the desire for validation and reinforcing emotional loops. You may find yourself scrolling endlessly, chasing approval from people who do not truly know you. Every pause, every silence, every delay feels like a test, a punishment, or a sign of rejection. Your emotional state becomes tethered to external reactions instead of internal understanding. You seek love and attention from sources that cannot provide stability or genuine care. Social media creates illusions of intimacy while masking manipulation, leaving your heart vulnerable. You begin to question your own feelings, wondering if your reactions are natural or conditioned. Recognizing these patterns is crucial for breaking free and reclaiming your emotional autonomy. Breaking toxic cycles begins with awareness of the patterns that control you. You must recognize the pull of chaos before you can resist it. Reflection is necessary, asking yourself why you tolerate what you would never accept from others. Boundaries are not punishment. They are protection for your heart and mind. Saying no becomes an act of courage, reclaiming space that has been stolen by unpredictability. Self-awareness allows you to observe emotional triggers without being consumed by them. You start noticing when manipulation is subtle, when love is conditional, when chaos is disguised as passion. Each conscious choice to step back weakens the invisible chains that bind you. Forgiveness is not the goal, it is understanding, acceptance, and the decision to move forward without repeating old patterns. You learn to differentiate between excitement and emotional harm, between intensity and true connection. Every small act of self-respect becomes a step toward freedom. Reclaiming your life from toxic attraction is not instantaneous, is gradual, deliberate, and transformative. The power to break free lies within your awareness, your choices, and your willingness to honor your emotional needs. Rebuilding healthy love begins with understanding yourself. You learn to recognize patterns that no longer serve you and choose connections that honor your needs. Trust is rebuilt slowly, one conscious step at a time, grounded in respect rather than intensity. You seek relationships where unpredictability is replaced by consistency and chaos is replaced by understanding. Emotional honesty becomes the foundation, and boundaries are embraced as tools of protection. You stop mistaking pain for passion and intensity for love, choosing clarity over confusion. Every decision now reflects your awareness and your commitment to your emotional well-being. You learn to enjoy intimacy without losing yourself in it, to love without fear, to connect without compulsion. The chains of toxic attraction weaken as you embrace your worth and refuse to tolerate chaos disguised as affection. Healing is gradual, and every conscious choice strengthens your autonomy, your peace, and your ability to truly love. The storm of emotional chaos may never fully disappear, but you no longer let it define you. You are free to experience love as it was meant to be, nourishing, steady, and reciprocal. And as you step forward, you carry the wisdom of the past without being bound by it, walking into relationships with clarity, strength, and awareness.